Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. So I've been onboarding a few different clients now for Bing indexing help, and here is a new case study for one of them. They came to me in June. I was able to work with them for about 2 weeks. We came up with an actionable plan. They implemented it, and now they have 600 pages indexed by Bing. They're getting more traffic from that. So if you're struggling to get indexed on Microsoft Bing, this video is for you. And if after this video, if you still need more help, feel free to reach out to me. So when I onboarded them, I got access to their Bing Webmaster Tools account. I went to their search performance dashboard. You're probably very familiar with this. If you filter by crawl and indexing, you're going to see all these crawl requests, crawl errors, but zero index pages. That's the key. That's why you're not getting any traffic from Bing. Next, I went to their site explorer just to confirm that filter by index URLs. There's no data available. So I can confirm that Bing has no historical data when it comes to index pages. That's why they're not getting any traffic from Bing. That's the problem. Now, as I said, in at the start of June, roughly like June 9th, roughly, when we made the changes, Bing picked it up. Now we have about 100 or so clicks. Now, this is sampled data. Basically, the data from GA4 is probably going to be much higher. But I can already see, though, that impressions are high, clicks are already happening. They're going to get, I typically tell clients you should expect between 5 to 15% of your Google monthly traffic should be from Bing. So if you're looking for ways to get more traffic, more, customers or clients for your business, and you're not indexed on Bing, that's actually a pretty easy way to start. So the previous issue, I'm sure you've seen this too with your dashboard. You go into URL inspection and it says discovered but not crawled. URL cannot appear on Bing, and they're very vague as to why. There is a link to the Bing Webmaster Tool guidelines, so I do recommend checking that out. Seeing what the issue might be. But I could tell though when I went into their account that there was an issue that wasn't exactly on the surface for most people to look at and say, okay, like it's just like a no index tag. That was really not the case with them. And then what you can do too is you can go into Microsoft Bing, put in URL command. So I did that, and none of their pages showed up in Bing. You can do the same search in Yahoo, AOL, DuckDuckGo, and Ecosia. Because Bing powers all those search engines, basically nothing's going to show up because if it's not on Bing, it's not on those other search engines as well. All right. So the fix. We made a bunch of changes, which I'm going to get into. Now it says index successfully URL can appear on Bing. That is phenomenal. And more importantly, when I go into the Site Explorer tab, I can see that all these pages are indexed. I can see there's still a bunch that are not, so there's some more work to be done. But we're already getting more and more pages daily indexed on Bing. It's going to lead to future traffic for them, and hopefully more conversions too. Steps taken by TM Blast to review. So again, I have roughly speaking about 1 to 2 clients reach out to me each month looking for Bing indexing help. So I have a pretty big catalog now of kind of like my checklist of what I go through. So this is sort of what I did for them, but also what I'm doing for others as well. So I'm going to request access to your Google Search Console and Big Webmaster Tools because I want to compare both together. Because sometimes actually there might be an issue with Google where Google like reluctantly indexes some pages, but I could tell maybe, hey, like that's a problem that Bing is just completely ignoring or choosing not to index. So if we fix that, it might actually even help your Google rankings as well. But I want to really compare the two crawls against each other. Maybe there might be some spam pages that got indexed by Google Search Console, which I could then see that, hey, maybe that's why Bing now chose not to index your website or remove pages. So anyway, I'm going to compare the two crawls together. Next, I'm going to do a basic SEO checklist. So this is what I recommend people too. If you're going to potentially reach out to me, do the zone check on your own website just to make sure. Robots.txt check, make sure you're not blocking Bing. See if there's any no index tags on your site. Those tell Google and Bing to basically remove the pages from your index. Canonical tag checks, meta keywords. There was one client that reached out to me that had, they were abusing their meta name keywords tag, which has really not been in operation since 2012, but they were doing it. I suggest just remove this tag. A few other changes too, but I also thought that the meta keywords was actually a signal for Bing that this might be spam. So I would just recommend just remove that completely. AI content submission. So AI is a really tricky subject. I'll get into this in another video, but if you have an excessive amount of AI and you're pumping that out, that might be why Bing's not indexing your website. Index now abuse, malware, copyright. So I go through all those checklists, just make sure there's no critical reason why Bing has chosen not to index the website. Next, I use a site called Sitebulb. I'm going to crawl the website both with JavaScript turned on and off. I'm going to mimic Bing bot. I can also crawl within Google bot and Sitebulb as well. So I'm really going to compare the crawls and see kind of where roughly Bing might be getting hung up. Maybe it's like an orphan off pages. Maybe there's like a redirect loop happening. So this is more of like a technical crawl, just making sure everything passes that. Next, I'm going to use Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge for testing. So I have both my computer. I'm going to do JavaScript on, JavaScript off, along also with going through the website on both my phone and also my computer, seeing if there's any reason why, maybe from like an accessibility standpoint or something else that Bing is getting caught up on. Okay, actionable steps to fix the indexing problem for this specific client. So I went through all these checklists. Again, every client I onboard is different, but this particular one, I looked at their HTML content, I looked at their JavaScript. I suggested from some dynamic JavaScript rendering, defer JavaScript to see the HTML content. So Bing typically needs multiple crawls to come back to a website to view everything. So I suggested that maybe help speed up the processing with that. What we also did too is we changed the crawl rate within Bing. So we wanted to get more aggressive after we made that change because I wanted Bing to speed it up because they have a cache memory of what the problem was. So we made the change. I said, okay, now speed up crawling. Next, I looked at their Google Search Console and I suggested adding canonical tags to their dynamic URLs that were on their website. I was noticing that Google was saying that they chose a different, or Google chose their own declared canonical tag. That told me that there was some confusion that was happening with Google. Therefore, I took that information and suggested it to the client. Hey, make these canonical tag changes refer to the parent URL. I think that's going to help with future crawling and indexing with Bing. It might also even fix Google, and also can then probably lead to better Google rankings because it's currently a wasted crawl for Google. Next, I suggested an HTML sitemap. So HTML sitemap is just a direct link for Bing and also for Google to follow to find your most important pages. There's a few other things too, but really these were the core changes that we suggested. And of course, the only thing that really matters for them is that they have, well, obviously new traffic. That's most important, I guess. But the other thing too here is the index pages now at 600. Every Bing client that reaches out to me has a different issue. There is some overlap of what I've seen now. I've been doing this for a while, but for the most part, though, every time I go through this, it's a standard checklist. But then there's always like something unique about this, which is why Bing's not indexing that. I can't promise that I will get the website index on Bing. There are some things that are out of my control. Things that are out of my control are like if you're building like excessive amounts of backlinks. I can just suggest that, hey, like maybe stop doing that. Or if you're pumping out like 20 articles every day from AI, and I say just stop doing that. And if you do or don't, again, I can't really control that. But what I can try to control is if there's a technical reason why Bing is having or getting hung up on a particular part of your website, I think I can be able to figure that out, suggest some changes to make, and ultimately get you again 5 to 15% of your Google monthly traffic. I want to get that from Bing, get you more clients and customers and traffic or whatever your goal is essentially. But anyway, I hope this video maybe sparks some ideas of what you can do for your website. Again, if you're struggling to get indexed on Bing, feel free to reach out. And as always, have a good rest of your day.